Hello from Kirksville, Missouri. This is Randy Carvin, and this is Rantin' Randy's Rant for 9/3/19. Folks, I don't have a whole lot today. Dorian is basically filled up the news. That and the diving boat off California, 8 dead have been found out of a crew of 34 that were on board. 5 crew members escaped from the fire, and other than that, they had compressed air on board and propane for cooking. Also heard that they got whatever fire was out, but it started again. I think it was in the kitchen area. That's probably what happened. It was a propane fire, and they couldn't get the fire out. Um, I think it was misleading too. From what I'm hearing, uh, it wasn't that the people were locked on board. Uh, they're now saying that that was kind of misstated or whatever by the crew. Hello, buddy. All right, I'll give him hell as best I can on a day like today. Uh, let's see what other news. We don't have any other news on the shooter except that both he and his employer had called 911. Now, uh, the shooter also called the FBI hotline. He was ignored or not paid attention to. Uh, and I can't understand that. He failed a background check, so where did he get an assault rifle? I have a theory on that, and don't hold me to it, but I believe he got it at a gun sale. You can walk right in there. If you're 18 years old, you're going to leave with a weapon. That's how bad they want to sell them. In this day and time of dumbass Trump in office, people feel, and that's the reason the NRA is raising so much hell these days, is they're having trouble selling more guns because people have plenty and they feel safe under the dumbass in the White House. All right. I want everybody should pay attention to CNN 10 candidates, 10 town halls starting Wednesday. Eastern Standard Time will be 5 p.m. and it'll run through, I think, until 11 o'clock with Jake Tapper with 30 minutes in between before they finish up tomorrow night. All right, got that out of the way. I have been watching, I was fortunate enough, I recorded all American Swamp, uh, and I'll start on the one I have completed. And it brought back memories. This administration has been corrupt from the moment it started. And American Swamp brought it up with POTUS Incorporated. Uh, Republicans interviewed, and this I think was around January of this year, interviewed weren't interested in Trump advertising his properties in Ireland or the Trump International Hotel. They preferred to talk about a great economy, unemployment, uh, and called it an unprecedented attack on the president. And then they would walk off. If you ask them anything else, they didn't want to talk about it. That figures. But POTUS Incorporated brought back some memories. Everybody remembers Kirshner in the 666 building, how he was trying to get Qatar to buy the building. And when they wouldn't comply, suddenly Donnie put a blockade by all the Arab countries like the Saudi Arabians and the Emirates. They put a blockade on doing anything with that country. And it turns out Qatar got it lifted, but in a sneaky way. Qatar went through and claims they had no knowledge of this, went through a Canadian company, and the Canadian company in their name invested in his damn building. So that shows corruption right there. It's been a shit show. And that's only the first show that I'm watching, and I'm going back and review that one again. I saw an interview with Don Lemon last night, the family of Joseph Griffith, a school teacher shot while at a traffic light in Odessa, interviewed by Don Lemon, like I said, the sister of Joseph, Carla. Her thoughts were for conversation together with the left and right on this. This shit has got to stop. We don't live in the Wild West. I don't want to live in the Wild West. I'm kind of tired. For instance, I told a friend of mine in a PM, I went to the bank the other day and stood behind an old guy making a deposit, and he had on a clock. That does not make me feel comfortable. How do I know what the mental state or frame of mind is more like it? Mental state has very little to do with any of this bullshit that's being pumped out. You can already tell that POTUS ain't going to do anything because the NRA's already told him, no, Donnie, you cannot do expanded background checks. So he comes out and said it wouldn't have stopped any in the last 5 or 6 years. How would we know? That's just a damn NRA talking point and has been through all those mass shootings. Bullshit. All right. Let's see. And despite the 4th Category 5 hurricane during his regime, each time he claims he's never heard or has only heard of a Category 5. Is he that feeble-minded? That he can't remember what he had said before? Or he doesn't pay any attention? Oh, that's right. His little minions don't give a shit what the truth is. And if he said it, he's already told them. Don't believe what you read or hear. And who's the one that hollers fake news all the time and doubled down today on his false report on the hurricane that it might affect Alabama. They never said it was going to affect Alabama, but he had to double down on it, and then he went into his fake news crap. Man, if there's any mental problems, POTUS is the one with the mental problems. Okay, let me read through this real quick. And what this is all about, folks, is like everything else he does. Crowd size. It had to be the biggest. It's happening during him, and he's got to point it out by he has only heard about Category 5. Biggest. Get it? And during Rachel's time slot and during the last word, Ali Valchi covered mostly Dorian at that time, and I think that's changed to 8, confirmed dead in the Bahamas. And on Sunday, their president, never will he be my president, He came out babbling NRA babbling talking points, uh, so his boss won't have expanded background checks. And I already told you he babbled on about it wouldn't have made any difference in all these killings if they had expanded background checks. In other words, Wayne LaPierre said, "No, Donnie, if you do that, we're not going to give you money for your campaign. And we've got some of the best dark money there is from Russia in good places like that." Oh, and I'm going to ask this because John asked it last night. Why are people not hitting the streets? We're seeing a shit show going on. The most corrupt president in U.S. history, and nobody's out there every day in the streets about something, particularly about gun violence. I don't understand it. And the only thing that I think explains it is fatigue created by the orange turd in the White House. He's wearing people out because everything that comes up, he has to double down and argue, punch down. Dumbass. Let's see, mostly covered page 2. I started with page 2. All right. Like I said, this is not going to be a long one. The one American swamp I'm working on now is for the people and BUY the people. Follow the money. Our Congress, the wealthy are buying politicians. The NRA, the Koch brothers, and others. Of course, there's only one Koch brother now, uh, since his brother died, but he's the meanest and nastiest one. You have to beware of Americans for Posterity. That is the Koch brothers. I happen to know uh, the Heritage Foundation. That is a right-wing conservative group funded by the Koch brothers' money. And Jane Mayer was on last night. She wrote Dark Money Americans for Prosperity are included, the Koch brothers, and Dark Money. In Arizona, for example, dark money is used to elect anti-solar candidates. In one of the most sunshiny states in the country, they are having these people get in where they can penalize people for using solar. And that's what it's all about. Boost the oil, the nasty energy over solar energy. Oh, I will say, before I start checking some of the people. Well, hello, Wayne Snyder. Yeah, I'm familiar. You in Belda. So I'm glad you joined us today. I will just, I got me discombobulated, but I won't make this a long one. I wanted to give the good news out on, I now, in the last 2 days, have 2 more subscribers. I'm at 74 subscribers. This has come a long ways from 2 weeks ago. I was at 54, so I've gained 20 more and got quite a few people watching, and 4 likes so far, and I get a whole lot of views. And I see you all talking to each other. I love that. Just like when we have a meeting, we all talk to each other. Yeah, yeah, Jerry, he is. He's just their puppet. He's Putin's puppet. He's Kim's puppet. I mean, it's not just one puppet master. He's got a whole shitload of them. All right, folks. I will let you go for now. I want to remind you, America, I love you. I love this Blue Dot family. We can get this done. We can get that orange thing out of our White House. And by the way, did anybody else notice when he had on the USA hat with 45 on the side of it? It looked like he had a bruise on his forehead, and it looked like one of his eyes were going black. I wonder if Melania uh, got her pussy grabbed or had some reason to clock him. I hope so. All right, folks. I'll leave you on that optimistic note. And I'm sure uh, with this storm now coming closer to Florida, uh, hopefully it's not going to consume all the time. Tomorrow night, I know that I'm going to be on MSNBC watching 10 uh, town halls because it's important. We have to pick out somebody. And unfortunately, I think the world of Joe Biden, but you don't conflate stories and then keep repeating them. And every time he repeats the story, he changes something in the details. Uh, Grandpa should keep his stories, war stories, at home and concentrate on what the issues are that we are for this time around. I'd like to see him do well, but I don't care. Personally, I don't care who is nominated. I'm going to vote blue no matter who. That's the most important thing. And if we can pull over some independents, if we can each go out and register one more person to go with us on election day, that can create a blue wave that is, even with Russian help and with the GOP trying, and another thing, we got to get done. We got to get this done. We have got to start, if it takes petitioning every state, we need paper ballots. We need proof. When this thing is over, we don't want to find out Russia screwed it all up, because they can now. In 50 states, they can control how the votes go. And just because they didn't do it in all places this last time, they're experimenting with it. Don't think they're not. All right, I will let you go with peace, resist, persist, and insist that we get that corruption out of our house. It's our damn house, and we're going to take it back and throw out the vermin that is living in there now. All right, America, I love you, and I love you, Blue Dots. Share this shit. Get it out there. It's important. Thank you, and have a great evening. Bye-bye.